You mentioned, you have been in this industry for a long time. Is there anything that you're able to kind of pull from your time at all your previous roles where you're like, this is just history repeating itself, or I've seen this before, let's avoid this hype? Yeah, what are you maybe pulling forward right now into this role?
There is for sure, but you've also got to be careful on the other side not to fill in the blanks too readily and say like, oh, this is just like what happened here, or we can do here exactly what we had success doing at Siggy's or at Post or what have you. So of course, I believe the experience met is an advantage, and you have to make it an advantage and see patterns and go that much faster. This is a very different segment than yogurt or cereal, and you've got to be looking for new patterns like how quick these competitors are coming in, the implications of that and such that aren't consistent with the pattern and what you've seen in the past.
Why are they able to move so quickly nowadays? Like you were saying, they're able to just switch things over quickly. All of a sudden, they're in the vegan market. I mean, it seems much faster than what we've seen previously. Like, what's changed since then?
I think there's two dynamics here. One is just a desire for speed and not to miss out on opportunities that has accelerated. I've seen many examples where it took a lot longer and competitors might come in once a year towards an opportunity that was growing instead of what we're seeing, which can be once a month, that you're seeing a new brand come in. I think specifically in our segment, one of the strengths we have is that we've got access, we specifically, but to a large extent, the industry have access to significant capacity because we can make this in dairy facilities. But that's a double-edged sword. That's great in terms of like we can keep up with demand as it's increasing and such, but especially on conventional offerings like shreds and slices, so can and do competitors. So whether that's a giant dairy company that says our volume's going down, plant-based is part of that, why don't we launch a plant-based? Whether that's a small player that's looking, and this is different than when David first started, but in the last couple of years, there's capacity in the US that they can just knock on a door and access. The desire's there and the possibility is there in a way it might not have been in many other historical examples.
David, anything to add to that?
No, I mean, I think he's covered it. It just, when people see an opportunity and they already have the production, they looked at well, maybe not our ingredients, but they looked at the ingredients that were required to make a plant-based cheese and threw it in there and sold it. That's the problem that we're facing, is that they didn't take the time to really well, I'm glad they didn't, I guess, but they didn't take the time to come out with an excellent product. Boy, I wouldn't want 20 competitors with equally as good products. But on the other hand, you don't want them getting the distribution because they're well known or they have the relationship or it's less cost or it's ease for the buyer to bring them in and then kind of taint the market. I think that's destructive. We all know climate is in the news every day, multiple times a day. This morning, there was a headline about Biden is going to force something because the Senate isn't reacting fast enough on climate. The consumer feels that. The younger consumer is really super sensitive to that. So this is going to grow, and there has to be products that are, again, going to bring that experience to the consumer. It's just tough that these other guys just wanted in to get in and didn't do it with care.
Yeah, it kind of feels like where the gluten-free market was maybe 5 to 10 years ago. I remember because my mother-in-law, she had celiac, and so we really always had to be searching for gluten-free stuff. And in the very beginning, there was nothing. And then everyone rushed in, and it was just a bunch of like sugar products where I was like, oh, this is like terrible for us, even if it doesn't include gluten, like really bad for us. But then by now, it's like people know the brand names of like who came in with a good product, who stuck it out for the long haul, and who kind of built that moat around the customers and kept that interaction going on that community. How do you all think about building a moat like that? Like, how are you holding on to your consumers, or at least reminding them like, hey, we have quality, we have, a great mission. David and Bart, we're awesome. Like, how do you keep them close to you all?
Fundamentally right now, there's more than one answer, and David, maybe you can talk on the communication side, but the multiple innovations we're rolling out are clearly meant to make us a market of one, or an option of one where consumers can enjoy cheese, whether it's something they feel nostalgic about, like, oh, I used to buy Laughing Cow. This seems like it's something that is along those lines, or whether it's something that's more surprising. and really delivers on the dairy cheese side, like the smoked wheels. That's a way literally to create like we're not just one of the many in the mix, and we stand out via the offering, the packaging. We stand out all together with those unique offerings.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.